Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Long Road to Ruin. And I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And over there is the misfit and miscreant himself, Ronnie Adams of the Screaming Boy podcast. That is no longer a podcast. How you doing, sir? You're muted. Whatever you did, fix it. There you go, buddy. Oh my God, I want to hear you.
I just making sure that I didn't echo into your beautiful intro there. By the way, that art, that Long Road to Ruin art, gosh, it's so good.
Benjamin J. Cologne of Soul Exo.
Yeah, man.
First run of Long Road to Ruins back in the Blog Talk Radio years.
Yeah,
he did all that. He did all that title card art.
Benjamin is pure talent, man. He's so good. The longer you say of the Scream Boy podcast, the more I want it to come back a little bit.
Are you really? Ooh, are we making a formal announcement? Can we tell the public that the Screaming Boy podcast, and can the first episode be the return of Movie Pass? I got him.
Never mind. You're done. It's gone. The moment is gone.
Do you realize both things that we talked about in the iteration of Screaming Boy that I tried to take over? There was like a hostile Radulich takeover.
You tried hard. I was like, I know what you're doing.
What's hilarious, it was kind of like an NWO thing. Like I tried to take over, and then like you beat me off, and then it was like the NWO black and white when Alexis tried to take over. It was just like, nope, get out of here.
She was NWO black and silver.
Yeah, she was.
That's why I was like, cut it off.
The Jeff Jarrett of podcast hosts.
Gosh, Bret Hart in the NWO. Yeah, right. But yeah, man, you killed it.
Do you know that both things that we talked about on the Screaming Boy podcast are back now? Movie Pass is back. In fact, they just had the CEO of Movie Pass on Box Office, the Box Office podcast that I listen to, and then there's some iteration of Toys R Us that's back.
Yeah, it's going to be in different. It's going to be the store's going to be inside the store,
right? Oh, and Bill Cosby's out of prison. Literally everything we did on the Screaming Boy podcast has been reversed.
It's so true. Oh man, Robin Williams.
The only thing we should have talked about that got reversed that we missed was abortion.
Which was never a topic.
And Ronnie was like, I'm already regretting this decision.
Never a topic.
It was. Yes, I am wearing my pumpkin t-shirt because this is Halloween.
Can't find my Halloween t-shirt.
You know, I was looking for it this morning. We have a bin of just holiday t-shirts like St. Patrick's Day, Christmas. It's like my one or two Halloween shirts. And I'm like, this podcast is a year in the making. Because last year we talked about this, and I'm like, Ronnie, I do 500 podcasts a week. I don't have time for this year.
Yeah, actually, I didn't suggest the of. You suggested the of.
No, you did. Because
I did.
I said, hey, we should do the Rob Zombie Halloweens, and you went, die, heretic.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
And then you're like, can we do the of Michael Myers trilogy? I'm like, all the sucky ones that have been now like discontinued or whatever. Sure, I guess.
Well, I mean, we'll get into what we think about him in a minute, but I mean, you've done worse.
Well, I wanted to say real quick, the last time I did a Long Road to Ruin was in March, and it was 3 of the select Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. It was the new one that was on Netflix. Yeah, Woof was the right response to that. There was the remake with Nipples McGee, which if but if you want to know what I mean by Nipples McGee, check out my TikTok, specifically on the male gaze in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Jessica Biel, frozen nipples, and then the original classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is you're in rarefied air here. This is the first Long Road to Ruin since March.
I know. I'm actually, when I realized it was a Long Road to Ruin, I was pretty freaking happy. Because I don't think I've rarely been on these.
Yeah, this is usually Sean's gig, but I've had Jason on a couple of them.
Right? Why not me?
Yeah. And so finally, Ronnie, this is your time to shine. So yeah, last year I was like, let's do Rob Zombie, and you're like, please God, no. And then you're like, how about these instead? And then you were like trying to push it a little bit. You're like, let's do the Of Michael Myers trilogy and H2O. And I'm like, God damn it, Ronnie. I don't have time to watch all of these. Listen, I'm social. I don't have time to watch 4 Halloween movies. I have things to do. And you're like, I don't care about your social life, Radulich. Nobody does. And please stop talking about it on the air. So
well, I mean, I see on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram enough. So F you, I want to talk about movies.
And OkCupid and OnlyFans and wherever else you can find me.
Wait, you got OnlyFans?
Oh, that was a topic recently that we were going to have a Damn You Hollywood OnlyFans. So I'm going to need you to get into public nudity shape for me there, Ronnie Adams of the Screaming Boy podcast.
Well, you better hope that OnlyFans is still a thing in about 10 years.
All right. Now that we've wasted sufficient time, why aren't we doing this? Why are we looking at the garbage Halloween movies? By the way, this is the last of it. Other than Rob Zombie, this is the last of the Halloween movies. We did Resurrection last year.
Yep.
Sean and I did 3 at one point. We've reviewed 1 and 2 over the course of the years. These are literally the only movies we haven't done outside of the Rob Zombie and then Halloween Ends Tomorrow. So why are you making me do this?
Because you need to. Honestly, listen.
Have I not been a good boy? I don't understand. What do you mean I need to?
Because you've done other garbage things in the past, and you need to do garbage things with me.
Oh, okay. No. I've laid in the mud with so many people, and there's Ronnie Adams next to Jesse and Evan Bevins with Jesus going, lay in the mud with me, Radulich.
Come get clean, Radulich. Come get clean.
Is that what you wanted, Ronnie? You wanted me to lay in the mud with you?
Don't lay in the mud with me. Lay in the river.
Okay.
Clean your soul.
All right. Tell me about these movies.
All right. So I think that these 4 movies, one of them, maybe 2 of them, the exception, are not as bad as what people think they are.
Okay.
Are they good?
That's a bold argument, Cotton.
Are they good? No.
Okay.
But are they as trash as everybody thinks they are? I don't think so. And the ones I think that are not trash, I will say this. They go 4, H2O, 5, and 6.
Actually, of the 4, I think I like H2O the best. Here's what 1, just so everyone understands what the Halloween universe looks like. 1 and 2 are canonical. And then 4, 5, and 6 follow the events of 1 and 2, and that is the 616 universe.
Then no. 1 and 2 are only canonical with 4, 5, and 6.
1 and 2 is also canonical with H2O and Resurrection.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that too. I forgot.
Yeah. So 1 and 2 are that's the 616 universe. The 813 universe, or whatever the next one's called. That is 1, 2, H2O and Resurrection. Then there's the 1012 universe, which is Rob Zombie, and it has no connection to the very first Halloween. And then there's the brand new one, which is Halloween. Make sure I get this right. Okay. Yeah, Halloween and then Halloween again. So it's Halloween 1978, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and then Rob or an Angry Mob, and then Halloween Ends.
Rabble.
Still my favorite of the Halloween movies. Evil dies tonight. Make America great again.
Hey. Let's not.
I'm right.
Get political.
Were you not on last year's review?
No, you didn't let me on.
Good night, everybody.
No, I think I was. It was just there was a lot more people than this.
Wasn't it like you? It wasn't the same as tomorrow. It was you, Jason, me, and Rob, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It might not have felt like you were. It might not have felt like you were on because no one would let you get a word in edgewise. But I'm fairly sure your body was there.
That's what I'm saying. There was a lot more people.
Yeah.
By that I mean there was a lot more opinion.
Yeah.
Than just us 2 on there, and I was like, well, yeah, okay, I like Michael Myers. Shut up! That's what I heard, and I went to bed.
there was a lot more people cutting you off and yelling, "Hold on."
Absolutely.
All right. I like H2O. I like H2O because it follows from 1 and 2, and it shows you Laurie Strode 20 years later. She's dealing with PTSD, alcoholism, the effect on her son, the effect on the family. I think my only issue with, and we'll come back to this, but real quick, my only issue with H2O is it really does lead up to an orgy of violence. Like, Michael Myers doesn't do a whole hell of a lot until you get to the third act. And in the third act, he kills the small cast.
Yeah.
Or even, I think only kills like maybe 2 of them. 3, counting the boyfriend.
There's a bigger body count than you realize, I think.
I didn't feel like he did much in that one. But it's a quaint, efficient movie. And then because of the subtext of it and the themes, I like it more than the trash you're about to convince me is good, which is Halloween 4, 5, and 6 hours. I like to call it the Donald Pleasant trilogy. How did we decide, Ronnie? And I'm going to need you to take my hand and walk me over the bridge. How did we decide the star of the Halloween movies was Donald fucking Pleasance? Explain that to me.
Who else are you going to get to play Dr. Loomis?
Why do we need Dr. Loomis?
Dr. Loomis is one of the key elements of Halloween. He is Michael's doctor. He's the only one that really knows anything about him besides Laurie Strode.
They turned him into Van Helsing with a 6.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. So in number 6, they turned him into Van Helsing. Really, really, honestly, that started in number 4. Mm-hmm. Really caught fire in 5, and then number 6, he was Van Helsing. But it's just one of those, like, okay, who else is going to be? Because at that point, Jamie Lee Curtis said she didn't want to do anymore.
Right.
So, okay, so here you get a little girl who's supposed to be who's supposed to be Laurie's daughter.
Right.
And that went over like a fart in church. And then, it was good for what it was, but you've got to have that star power, Donald Pleasance, to be in there. To get to keep it going. He's a familiar face. I mean, even the actor of Michael Myers had changed, and you could tell by just little.
I don't mean to be disrespectful. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but by the time 6 is over, there's a fair to average chance that man wasn't making it out of filming. I mean, like he
died very soon after.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm trying to not make that joke. But he kind of sounds like Johnny Cash singing "A Bridge Over Troubled Water," where it sounds like Johnny Is going to be dead before the song's over. Donald Pleasant
hurt myself.
Now, listen, he sounds positively fucking youthful during Hurt. Have you ever heard his "Bridge Over Troubled Water" cover?
Yeah, I can't do that one. See, I'm a Johnny Cash, like, I'm a super fan. Yeah. I can make fun of certain things, but man, that Bridge Over Troubled Water makes me cry. I mean, because
it's not like Chris Cornell doing "Nothing Compares to You" sad. It's more like, is he going to make it to the end of the song sad? And Donald didn't. I don't think was like he wasn't going to make it to the end of filming 6. But anyway, I keep.
But he wielded that 1911 around like it was somebody else's business.
By the way, poor Donald Pleasance, who gets thrown hither and yon in these 3 movies. He is constantly like diving into barrels and shit,
like, jumping out of moving trains.
Why? Yeah, it's like. I feel like Miss Piggy in the fucking Great Muppet Caper. Next time they want stunts, they get a double. All right, so
he's almost gone. Just chuck him out the window.
All right, so this is like an on trial for you. You're like, I am here to speak for the name of Halloween 4, 5, and 6, which get lambasted by people. Is that
not necessarily, because you have your opinion and it's very valid. People who don't like these and think that they're garbage, it's a valid opinion because they're not good movies. But I don't think they're as bad as people think they are. Now, 6 is as bad as people think it is. But 4, I think 4 tried really hard. But there was some I
want a visual aid here. Keep talking. No, my pants will be on. Just relax.
I thought you made me take my shirt off or something. Okay.
Only for the OnlyFans.
Perfect. Number 4.
Yeah.
It was go lay down. My dog. 4 was it tried real hard, but it had some. I think it had some studio interference, and they went from the psychological thriller to the supernatural, like the superhuman strength and resilience and all that stuff. Which that's when it started going off the rails, and then you have 5, which started getting into the cult. I think wasn't it? No, that was 6.
It's 6 where it turns out that he's an instrument of the cult.
Yeah, that's right. Number 5 was forgettable, apparently.
Number 5 continues the story set up in 4, which
5, in my opinion, 5 was the Morbius of this trio. It's there, man. And then 6, God bless him, even Paul Rudd couldn't save this one.
I really knew nothing about these except that everyone hates them, and this is why they had to reboot the stupid thing.
Yeah,
but yeah, I watched it last night. Much to my surprise, fucking Paul Rudd's in this. Like, oh look, it's Ant-Man. Which
right?
You can survive a bad movie or a bad series of movies and still get into a Marvel movie and make that.
I think it's because people don't realize it's actually Paul Rudd because he looks the same age. The man doesn't age.
So as you can see, these are all a steady decline here. We have a critical score of 9 and an audience score of 37 for 6. So you're not kidding when you say people don't like these. 5 is 12 and 36, and then 4 is 33 and 52. So we started at failing and went straight into God why territory.
Straight into like screaming on a mountaintop.
Speaking of horror movies. All right, so let's get into this real quick, just this first trilogy of movies here, and explain to me, one, what these are and why, at the very least, 4 you think is better than how it's perceived.
Okay. My turn? Okay. Are you going to? You're not going plot line. Okay.
No,
yeah.
You want to know what the plot of these things? I mean, you can talk about what's in the movie, but I'm not going to read through the plot synopsis. Nobody gives a shit. And
I forgot. Yeah,
I've listened to these shows back. It totally drags the podcast down. Yeah, so do your thing.
So okay, 4 picks up. 4 was an answer to angry mob of fans saying Michael Myers wasn't in 3 because that is its own timeline.
Yeah, it's an anthology movie, which we've covered here on Trial.
And now, if you take the name Halloween out of it, it's not a bad movie. You leave the name Halloween in it, I think it's pig trash. But sorry, just my opinion. But you got the answer to the angry mob was 4. And honestly, to be real honest, you can tell that somebody who knew what they were talking about wrote this movie. And then somebody who didn't know what they were talking about jumped in and started making, no, let's make him super strong. Oh, he can't die, blah, blah, blah. You know, Loomis shot him 6 times. There's a point where you can say, yes, this man got stabbed in the neck with a knitting needle, stabbed in the chest with a butcher knife, and then shot 6 times, which you can argue that he didn't get shot 6 times, that maybe he missed a couple of times. And survived because he is in his own mind doesn't know limits and is probably pure evil. Okay, nothing really superhuman about it. But then they said, well, you did all this, so let's make him this. He did A, so let's make him B. And that's what people started to really fall off on it because they were not happy with the fact that he's now supernatural. That he can't die, and that Loomis is going on about him being nothing but pure evil. There's nothing human about him. Well, there is, and that's what really scared people because he was human, and you know, it seemed like even though he's human, nothing could stop him. You know, because he was human, this could happen to anybody.
Can I tell you how I wish that in Loomis's pursuit of Michael Myers, I wish the story was that they couldn't catch Michael doing anything, and they just assume Dr. Loomis is nuts, and he gets dragged away to, you know, the final scene is he's in the psychiatric facility, and Michael Myers kind of like turns around and like you see him off camera to stab somebody, and then the Halloween music would play. That's how I would have done it.
That would oh man, that I've thought about that, but that right there, that's a great pitch. That was amazing. But I've thought about it being all in Loomis's head, but I was like, I don't want to do the shake the snow globe and the autistic kid looks at it from the
it's just more of like it's more of he keeps saying, but Michael, because at the end of 2, if I remember correctly, Michael is dead, isn't he?
Yeah, because she shot him in both eyes.
Right. And then set him on fire and dismembered him and shoved him up a prostitute's ass. And then they fell into the pit of Mount Doom and he was launched into space. Everything happened to Michael Myers at the end of 2. So
I just like the fact that she went from screaming and dragging herself on the ground to being pinpoint accurate with a 38 and shooting him in both eyes. She's like, "Oh, I got your mother!"
And yelling "West Side," she had the gun like this.
It's just what I was talking about in my head.
So my point is, like, he would be dead, right? Theoretically, but the murder started up again, and Dr. Loomis like, it's got to be Michael Myers, and like. And it is. It totally is Michael Myers, but nobody knows it, and everyone just thinks Loomis is nuts. And somehow, they end up thinking it's somebody else or something else, and so he just gets dragged away. Meanwhile, Michael Myers is just fucking out there.
Well, in my head, I had it reverse Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
That after 1, he actually did kill Michael, but because Michael was his one great loss as a patient, he's the one committing murders in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then they haul him off.
Cool. Would have been any of that would have also been cool, and any of it would have been better than this trash. Anyway, you were saying Halloween 4.
I said 3, but I meant 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Halloween 4. I mean, okay, so that didn't make people happy. It was the supernatural part of it. The other thing that didn't make people happy is the mask. They completely changed the design of the mask. Not completely, but there was something wrong with. Like I remember one of the masks being stored improperly underneath a bed in a heavy smoker's house, where it just like turned brittle and yellow. And so, we just got to make a new one. So they did this one, and they were like, "Well, it's too stark white, and it looks like he's smiling a little bit, and it's not emotionless enough." So people weren't happy with the mask on this one, which he obviously stole a brand new mask in 4. Because it shows his big meaty hand, clawing it out of the store. Like, how do you not know it's a half naked man grabbing a mask, as big as he is?
Maybe it was in Florida.
Good point. But it was it tried really hard, and that's why I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Is it the most opportune? Is it the best follow up to 2? Absolutely not, because after 2, nothing should have happened.
At the end of 4, Laurie Strode's daughter that's dressed up like Michael in the clown outfit?
Yes.
And like the implication is this is going to be the successor to Michael Myers?
Yes.
Okay. And so we get to 5,
and she's gone.
And here's the thing. What I thought I remembered, and again, it was late at night when I watched it, but what I thought was happening in 5 was they abandoned that idea and then just made her like psychic. Here's my problem with 5. For the 90-minute runtime, that kid screams incessantly. It never stops. It's like the goats from Thor: Love and Thunder. She never stops screaming the whole 90-minute time.
I can't agree with that, because actually the goats from Love and Thunder were the only entertaining thing about it for me.
No. You don't have to agree or disagree. You can like the goats from Love and Thunder, but you have to admit. So have you ever watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yes.
So you know how the last act of the movie is the girl screaming the entire time?
Yeah. Oh no, I
the entire time. Okay.
That little girl screamed the entire movie.
Yeah, this kid screams the entire movie, like to the point where whatever menace it's supposed to, bring to the audience, whatever fright it's supposed to induce, at some point it just becomes noise.
Oh yeah.
It's my biggest problem with Halloween 5, other than it's kind of boring and incoherent, is the incessant screaming that goes on, and it just never stops. and you never get a break from it. And it's just like it's a hard movie to watch. Like I can watch 4 and I can watch 6. 6 is so dopey it should be studied, and 4 is actually mildly entertaining. 5 is so bad. Like 5,
really bad.
You know, I don't like to do the Jason Teasley thing of I'm mad at you for making me watch this, but I almost called you and canceled this. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. That's how bad 5 is, and I don't.
You watched Zombievers for him.
I did what?
You watched Zombievers for him, didn't you?
No, that I watched. What was it? Zombies.
Zombies. That's right.
And no, the one that you should be citing is fucking Velocipaster.
That's true.
Anyway, try to convince me 5 is not complete trash.
Oh, it's not good. No, it's not. But it's not as bad as 6.
See, I find 6 to be at least mildly entertaining.
I don't. I mean, okay. All right, I will give you this. The one big thing that 6 has over 5 is Paul Rudd.
Yeah, and Paul Rudd's a capable actor.
Yes. He's capable of creepy and whatever he's doing in that. I don't know what he's trying to pull off, but he did it well. But there's some parts in there. But the mask, people got mad over this mask. But you look at the mask in 6, it's disgusting. The cult, the Thorn cult thing going on there. It just gave me a headache, man, because I was like, why do you have to bring more things into this other than just Michael Myers, you know?
I want to can we talk about that for just a minute?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. As a Halloween fan, and I was going to save this for Halloween Ends, but I almost don't feel like there's going to be time to talk about it with the 4 of us there and having to do Damn You Hollywood. So I'm going to ask you here while I have you all to myself, all my lonesome. At some point, does a guy walking around with a knife get boring? You know, as watching a guy with a knife stabbing people, does this not get boring after a while? In defense of the people who wrote The Curse of Michael Myers, they were like, we got to do something. It's the same shit every movie. Or do you just like the same shit every movie?
It depends. You're talking to a big fan of the Scream franchise, too.
Okay. There's almost no comparison. The Scream franchises, there's meta commentary, and they do a lot with it. It's a lot more than just the stabbings. Along
the way, isn't it just somebody pretending to be somebody else who stabs people?
Here's the thing: they're playing with a lot of conventions. You have the multiple people thing, and so why is he here and not there? You know, if this isn't supernatural, how is he doing these things? That's the fun of Scream. It's the mystery is in the whodunit. My problem with Halloween, not to completely attack this franchise, but it gets propped up for kind of launching a subgenre. It launched the slasher genre, by and large, and it's beloved, and so I think people look upon it with rose-colored glasses. But my issue with Halloween is kind of a lot of people's issues with Star Wars. It's a little limiting. Not a whole lot you can do with this. And every time you try to add something to it and make it more complex, it falls apart under its own weight. A Nightmare on Elm Street, I was actually just having this conversation with Melissa the other night. The great thing about A Nightmare on Elm Street is the kills can be as elaborate as you want them to be. You're playing in the dreamscape. The great thing about Saw is the kills can be as elaborate as you want them to be. You're dealing with complex traps. The problem, I think, with Friday the 13th and Halloween is it's a dude. It's a dude with a knife, or a sword or something, just stabbing people and cutting them to death. Like, after a while, it's the same thing over and over again. And again, when they try to do something else, people reject it because it's like they just want to see Michael Myers kill people. And all you're then left with is making the kills that much more brutal. But how much more brutal are you supposed to make a guy with a knife? Your response, sir.
Okay, so being a fan of the franchise, for the longest time I wasn't a fan of 4, 5, and 6 to a point. 3 didn't exist to me because I felt betrayed by the writers. Blah, 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 blah. I lived in that world for a while.
Sure.
Now I can appreciate what it is. 1 and 2 were really the standouts to me until the new ones came out, mainly because I'd never really seen a movie build off of the same night in a second, and be number 2.
Sure.
When he got shot off the back through the window and fell to the ground. And Dr. Loomis sees him and then goes back and then he's gone. And, the boogeyman line and all that stuff. And then the credits roll.
That's what I am. I'm your boogeyman.
Yeah, it was seeing Donald Pleasance dance like that was amazing.
I never thought he would bust out a moonwalk. I'm just saying.
Did not either. But the man was sexy with moonwalk.
He does.
But credits roll. I was like, okay, that's a great ending.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 2 comes out. And I was like, okay, where are they going with this? It's like 5 minutes after this happened.
Right.
She's on the way to the hospital. So is Michael Myers to end to end her.
Right.
And that's why I enjoyed those 2. I really liked that. Until the silliness of, hey, let's chop him up into food, to plant food and fire him into space, and then we'll raise the ground and salt the ground that he was, born on and everything else.
When they buried him in the sand and then tried to nuke the planet from orbit just to be sure, I really thought they'd gone over the top.
Well, it was that, and then when they inserted him into Planet of the Apes, and started that franchise, I was like, okay, I'm done.
Right.
But it was so the others also just kind of came in at a time that like I still enjoyed horror movies and stuff like that, but I just didn't really watch them.
Right.
I was too young, whatever, blah blah blah. When I was old enough, I could watch Halloween and enjoy it for what it was, and Halloween 2. And I actually watched Halloween 2 with 2 nurses who are.
Oh, did you?
No, it was a married couple, and they were
really. Yeah, they were unicorn. Tell me more about this story.
There are youth pastors.
Oh my god, you ruined everything.
Boom. There are youth leaders, and we were watching on like an edited channel or whatever, and they kind of set the precedent of like, oh, somebody can't bleed that much out of the, and like. Like where I was like, okay, when the one nurse came in and slipped and fell into the blood, like there is not that much blood in the human body. And I was like, really? I mean, it's like one of those things. I was like, okay, so I stopped being scared of it then.
Right.
But
hang on, just to kind of get you back on track. The thing I asked you is why not a cult when you plumb run out of ideas?
I'm getting there. I promise. So there, okay. So I enjoyed those 2, and then when I finally watched the others, 4, 5, and 6, I was like, 4 tried, 5 was there, and 6 was like, you at this point they've taken a character that is beloved and everything, and they're like, okay, we need to change it up. We need to get something grooving. We need to get something, we need to make more money on this. Well, let's add a cult. Cults are cool right now, right? It's 1989. We can do this. And it was just it was more ludicrous than I could ever imagine coming out of this kind of horror movie.
Let me ask
just
you a question.
add a cult for fun.
If they took the name Halloween off of it and it was Ham Sandwich the movie, and it was about a zombie that kills people in order to fulfill the prophecy of a cult, is it a good movie then?
Maybe.
Okay. Are we just very much focused on just this isn't Halloween, and that's as simple as an explanation as you need?
I'll be honest with you. That's about 75% of it with me.
Okay.
I'm a curmudgeon old Halloween fan, but not enough. I mean, if it would have worked, it would have worked. I would have accepted it. It just didn't work for me.
Well, that's the other thing is like I think you can get away with a wild and crazy idea if you have talented enough writers. This clearly didn't. All right,
the writing wasn't there.
Okay, so this is your show, as I like to say. So give me 50 words or less, because then we're moving on to H2O.
50 words or less. I mean, like, give it a try. I mean, if you're of the mind of like, I'll never watch these because they're hog trash, and they ruined my beloved Michael with them. I want you to go into 4 with an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go into 5 with
I want you to go into 5 with drugs,
with the mindset of this is not going to be good, but it's the Morbius of the trio.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. And go into 6 with like, hey, I get to watch Paul Rudd's very first movie ever.
Right.
I will promise you, I will rewatch 6 with an open mind to see if I would like it if it weren't a Halloween movie, or or whatever. But I just 4, 5, and 6, I can see why people have turned their back on them, but I will always say that at least 4 tried.
At least George St. Pierre tried. So as I was saying at the top of the show, Halloween H20, 20 years later, after 3 movies, and I want to go back a second and just real quick before I make a commitment to this thought. So we have The Return of Michael Myers, which came out in 88. Made money. It was done on a $5 million budget. I mean, this thing was shot for fucking was made on like shoe polish and bubble gum. $5 million budget, made $17.8 million, so it was profitable. And so of course they did another one.
You got your people in there that you wanted, but we're calling it The Return of Michael Myers.
Right. The next one was shot. They gave it a little bit more money. It was $5.5 million, and it made less money, but still just profitable. Skin of its nose profitable. 5.5 million against an 11.6 gross. And then finally, 6 here, 1995's Curse of Michael Myers, a $5 million budget, and this one actually made more money. We're back into $15 million here. So, I mean, I think there's just like now there's like, well, this thing is familiar. People will come see it. They gave it some time off. I mean, H20 came out in 1998. So, what was it, 3 years later, I think. This thing made $17 million. This $75 million against a $17 million budget. So this is pretty successful. I mean, this is like classic Hollywood economics. Make a horror movie for a shoestring budget, and if it hits, you make zillions off of it. It's
78 Halloween. Yeah, the very first Halloween movie, profitable.
Yeah,
like a $500,000 or $300,000 budget.
That thing had like student film money, and it's a cultural icon. So Halloween H20 brings back Jamie Lee Curtis. It brings on Michelle Williams, Josh Hartnett, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who dies in the first scene of the movie, which is fantastic. LL Cool J, who I don't know if you know this or not, Ronnie, but LL Cool J is hard as hell.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
And he could not survive without his radio. I don't know if you know that as well.
I had heard rumors about that, but I wasn't sure. Thank you for clarifying
that. The thing about LL Cool J in this movie, he is walking like a panther. I could do this all day. So the premise here is
Mama said nothing about
radio. Suckers never play me. Wait, that's Public Enemy. Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
Rawr, rawr, like a dungeon dragon. Wait, wrong rapper, wrong movie. That's Busta Rhymes. Who spin kicked a zombie once. I got him.
Oh, this is a lot of Gatorade
on the carpet. Laurie Strode is back, and as I said earlier, she is dealing with the trauma of what happened to her in 1978. She has a son. Her husband has left her. He, I think, was a drug addict of some description. She is working in some sort of a private school, and she is at loggerheads with her son. Hey, I want to keep you safe. There's a monster that's been trying to kill me all these years, and he might come back. And the son going, we haven't seen hide or hair of this monster. What the fuck is wrong with you? And this all leads to an orgy of violence at the end when said monster shows up and starts hacking away at people. Halloween H20. The very definition of efficient horror. I like this movie, but as I said, my biggest complaint about it, Ronnie, is it takes for fucking ever to get to Michael Myers killing people. There is a lot of setup. There is a lot of, not navel gazing, but there is definitely a lot of musing about what's out there and the family dynamic. And I can see, and I'm going to bring it up in just a second, I can see where people might struggle with this movie. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think the main reason people struggle with this movie is because it was completely out of context from everything else. that they
You
had
think
been
so?
fed
You
over
think
the
people?
years. I mean,
Well, I mean, you think when it just ignoring 4, 5, and 6, people struggled with it that much?
no, I think that's why it made money. But then
Okay.
then it goes in to say, like, maybe I was explaining myself wrong there. And did it ignore 2 as well? I think it did.
No, we
No,
went
it
over
didn't.
this.
Yeah, this one actually is 2. No, that's actually has 2.
Yeah.
Um,
By the way,
I'm thinking of, I know. I'm thinking of Michael Myers. I mean Halloween.
Yeah, 2018.
No. The next one after this,
Resurrection.
Resurrection. I'm thinking Halloween Resurrection for some reason.
But
Which
even that, follows in continuity with this one. Not that it mattered.
not that it matters.
Yeah. So just real quick, just so I can, for demographic sake, we have a 52% critical score and a 49% audience score. So yeah, audiences struggled with this one.
Yeah. I don't know why, actually. To be honest with you, now that I've got my head on straight, I have no clue why they struggled so much with this one, because this one is actually what they wanted.
He has an opportunity to kill the mom, and he just like robs her of her purse like a common thief, and like drives away with the car going hee hee, down the street. Like, could have killed the kid, could have killed the mom. We could have had an early kill right there, and he's just like, nah, I'm gonna take a purse and take the car keys, go for a joyride. Come join the joyride, Ronnie Adams.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that part. Why didn't he kill the mom? That was dumb.
Why didn't
he kill the kid? He doesn't kill the kid.
Classic horror structure. You got to get your first kill out of the way in the first scene, or you lose your entire audience. Every 15 minutes you got to have another kill, or people are like, "What am I watching here?" Because I remember watching this back in 1998, and I want to say, now that I think back to those times, I remember my friends going, "Are we ever going to kill anyone in this movie?" Nope, we're going to wait to the third act.
This actually was one of the very first rated R movies I went to see by myself.
Oh, look at you, big boy, Ronnie Adams.
Not one of the very first, but it was one of the first. I will put it this way: it was one of the first. My mom didn't go, "What? You don't need to see that. You're not allowed to see that." And me going, "Okay, whatever," and walking out.
Meanwhile, I'm like 5, and my dad's renting me like Hot Dog the movie.
Right? Yeah. No. No. He was like
large tracts of land. So
he was like, "Hey, look at you shouldn't. Your mom's going to kill us. Get out of here." That was my dad.
Right. So real quick, I like if you're not a gorehound and you're not anxiously awaiting Michael Myers to hack people to bits, and you can just watch the movie for what it is. I think Laurie Strode dealing with decades of PTSD and being at loggerheads with her son is an actually interesting story. Josh Hartnett is not much of a twat. He's kind of kind of a usual douchey teenager, but no more douchey than your average teenage boy, especially with an overbearing mother. And so I think there's a lot there, but I'm also like not religiously committed to this franchise and can kind of accept the film for what it is. What are your thoughts on
this? I'm exactly where you are on this one. This one I actually enjoyed, even though it was kind of like, my relief was it ignored 4, 5, and 6, and it was actually pretty good, even for having the cool cast of the time. It was 1998. So, you had the cool kid, club, plus you had to have your rapper in there, which is LL Cool J, who actually is a phenomenal actor in his own right, in my opinion. Not phenomenal, but a good actor.
He's way goofy in this. Like, not as goofy as Busta Rhymes, but
but he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be your derpy security guard.
He's a little minstrelly, just a little bit, just a smidgen minstrelly.
You think so?
A little bit.
Okay.
Like, everybody read your lines normal. You read it like a black person.
Okay, yeah, true. All right, I get that.
I'm gonna need you to be really black, LL Cool J. I really want to be in movies. I really want to be in movies. Hey, honey, yo, fresh, dope.
Okay, you made your point, right? Shut up. No, I get that. No, I can see that now. I just, I thought he was just supposed to be goofy, derpy, kind of, like, I forgot to shut the gate, yo. But
homie.
But and I mean, and he ends up dying in the worst.
No, he doesn't. He gets shot, and and it's like the Chewbacca fake out from fucking what was it? The Rise of Skywalker, where like the whole setup is you think the boyfriend shot him, and shot him dead because they thought he was Michael Myers. And so he's lying dead, but then Michael Myers comes out of the hallway and stabs Laurie Strode's boyfriend, and then she goes off running, and we're into the next set piece. But then he shows up at the very end to ta-da, save the day, and it's like, the bullet just grazed me. I don't know if you've ever experienced, like, you know...
completely stepped on my joke, by the way.
Oh, did I? And do it again?
That's okay. I was going to say he died, but ta-da, by, but he came back. I was going to pull that out too.
Oh.
But where you think he's dead, but he's not, and he saves the day.
Anyway. What else about this movie, Ronnie, that I won't step on any more of your lines?
Honestly, no, you're fine. I don't give a crap. You know that. If anybody's going to step on it, it's glad it's you.
That's what she said.
Well, I have nothing else to say. This one was actually fun.
Yeah.
It brought. I mean, it was the cheap thrills, the cheap scares. Yes, they happened all in the third act. Yeah, it was kind of void of Michael for a while, but it still it built it up at least from for a while, and then finally it delivered in the end.
Yeah.
It still gave me.
It is a breezy 86 minutes. I mean, this thing is tight.
It is easy to watch if you need a good older Halloween movie to follow up Halloween 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. I mean, like it's just you'll be like, oh, I didn't realize it was over yet. Right. And you might want more of it, but it was like I said in the theater. I came out, even then I was like, man, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah. It's over before it can get bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like they can't really ruin anything with this.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest I was reading some why people didn't like these certain reasons, and the biggest one out of 4, 5, 6, and H20 were the masks.
Okay, really?
Yeah, they were
people that petty that picking you in the details.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
I know.
Whatever.
The only match that I realized that I didn't like were 5 and 6, but even I can look past that crap, and I'm pretty picky. But this is fun, man. This was actually one of those that gave me the cheap jumps and the jump scares and like, oh hey, that it was a cool little movie.
All right. Are you satisfied, Ronnie? Are we done now? Are we done, Ronnie, with this fucking franchise?
No, we're not, because we have one more show tomorrow night.
That's true. They have Halloween ends.
It does. Does it? Does it actually end?
Are we ever going to do the Rob Zombie ones?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. Ronnie Adams, the little kids, they tell me they want to play the Dungeons and Dragons, and I hear you're familiar with this sort of thing.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
As you paint your miniatures.
Actually, I just picked one up here and was looking at it for a second. I need to finish him. Yeah, man, if you come over to Twitch, Misfits and Miscreants, we every other week right now we are playing a campaign called Rime of the Frost Maiden. I am a lazy son of a gun. I haven't started.
You're still doing Rime of the Frost Maiden, dude. You were doing that back when I was doing a lot of podcasts. That was like in February.
Yep. These things run years, man.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. I have a feeling we'll be on this one for another probably 6 months.
Okay. Go back to your
nerd. I know.
Go back to your nerd thing.
Seriously, dude, I know guys who are running a 30-year campaign right now. 30 to 40-year campaign. Yeah. It just keeps adding on. They switch players, every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, it's just like they build on their world. And so this is, of course, when we play every other week too. So that's another reason.
All right. So Rime of the Frost Maiden, go.
Yeah. And soon I'm adding more shows. We're going to be doing a one shot hopefully turns into a long-standing campaign of Call of Cthulhu. I will be attending Jeff Con this year, which is normally known as Mace, but unfortunately the creator of Mace, Jeff, he passed away earlier this year. So this is Jeff Con, the last Mace, before somebody else takes it over and probably names it something else. Mm-hmm. And I will be there this November 11th through the 13th. And I will be hosting Call of Cthulhu, Kids on Bikes, Alien the RPG, and a game of Dungeons & Dragons 5e. So I'll be GMing 4 games there. So if you can come out to that is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So please do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's only $30 for the weekend. Come out and play some games and hang out. Of course, you have to take care of your hotel and food and everything else. But so we'll be adding more shows soon. I've got some timelines set up and everything else, and we're going to really rock it out here soon. And then hopefully by the new year we'll be going stronger than ever with some content on Twitch. Other than that, man, just come out and check out where I'm in the Frostmaiden. I got some great players. We're actually down to 5 players now. We started out with 7, and life happens, and we're down to 5 now. And it actually is a really good group of guys that sit around and hang out with me.
Nobody cares about any of this. Tell them about your TikTok.
Wow, dude.
Tell them about your TikTok.
My TikTok's of misfits and miscreants, and that's it.
I try to
do a whole lot on it right now.
You stop putting stuff on TikTok?
I've stopped putting stuff up right because of work and life and everything. I stopped putting stuff up on everything right now.
Oh, there's always you gotta get back on the TikTok, man.
I watched the TikTok, but I haven't put anything up on the TikTok. But I want to put stuff.
You know what you also do? Send me videos in the middle of the night and then don't realize that you sent them to me.
I fall asleep watching TikTok, man. I've sent videos to everybody.
And you send videos?
Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped taking Ambien. All right. Anything else?
Melatonin, that's how weak I am.
Anything else, Mr. Misfit and Miscreants?
Nah, man, that's it. We're doing good.
All right, cool. Well, I was glad we got a chance to do this. Ronnie will be back tomorrow for all you ladies who watch the show tonight. If you're looking for more of Ronnie Adams and you can't find him on the TikTok, you'll see him here tomorrow on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network as he, the Protocol son, Jason Teasley, and everyone's favorite curmudgeon, Robert Winfrey, and I review Halloween Ends, the ending to the modern Halloween trilogy.
I don't think I have the strength.
And maybe you don't like Ronnie Adams, but you like Alexis Hano. You're going to get a double shot of Alexis on Wednesday.
The hell?
She and I will be reviewing Only Murders in the Building Season 2 at noon on Wednesday before I go see Gwar in the evening. I'm on the wrong thing. And then she'll be back leading her own TV party with Robert Winfrey and whoever else. I think Jason's coming on that one too, the Protocol son. They'll be doing Midnight Club. So check that out. Hey, Black Adam comes out this Friday, which means that there's a comic that we reviewed, synergizing with it, kind of, sort of. Jesse and I reviewed World War III featuring Black Adam, which was really featuring Martian Manhunter. But you should check out our review anyway. Actually, don't check out our review. Just listen to the gag reel. Just listen to the gag reel and me try to get Jesse to find all the DC comic porn that's out there. Worth it. Worth it.
What would have made that better?
Yes. Hey, Ronnie, I was telling someone earlier in the evening about all the years of gag reels that you and I are on. All the gag reels, Ronnie. Remember those years?
I remember those years. I don't know why I was booted from those years.
Well, I'm gonna find all the gag reels. I'm gonna stitch them together and send them to people because those are the best parts of source material, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Jesse Starcher runs a mean podcast. I mean, it's he does some great editing. He throws together a quite professional podcast.
He does.
Put me to shame. That's why, and then you ruin it.
Yeah.
And then and I do my best to help ruin it and just ruin it by sucking. But I tell you what, out of all the years, out of the shows that I've done, those are among my top, my favorites of just being on there with you guys.
Especially Flintstones, right? Where we argued about polyamory for an hour.
Okay, so that comic can burn in hell. But actually, that was kind of a fun, show.
All right, man. We're gonna go. Miss you, buddy. You're gonna be back. You're gonna be back not just tomorrow, but I think I got you on for another long road to ruin. You're doing like 2. Can you believe it?
What are they
doing? You're gonna be back for Lord of the Rings.
Okay, yeah.
The Power of the Ring show. And I didn't put your name on this, but you and I decided we were gonna do a long road to ruin for Clerks November 2nd.
That's right, because you know where I'm gonna be October 31st.
Where are you going to be, Jackson?
Watching Clerks 3 with a Q&A with Kevin Smith after.
Yes, I'm going to that Sunday here in Tampa.
Are you? That's awesome. I'm going in Durham. Yeah.
So yes, we'll by November 2nd, we'll both have seen Clerks 3, which means we're going to do all 3 Clerks movies as one long road to ruin. It's going to be fun. It'll be fun. I have not had a chance to do much Kevin Smith on here. The last Kevin Smith thing I did, I think, was Zach and Miri Make a Porno. That's like one of Sean's favorite movies. It was a fun show.
Okay, so great show, pretty good movie. I mean, I'm a Smith fan. I mean, it's what the crap? Oh, that's my mama video game just fell down.
All right.
But yes. I mean, I'm a fan. Not my favorite Smith movie, but if you want to do Kevin Smith stuff, I'm here for it.
Yep. Clerks 1, 2, and 3, November 2nd. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Ronnie Adams. Check out his OnlyFans. I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.